My goal for this week was just to build a base for all my future mechanics and features. I actually tried a lot of things that I may or may not want to add to the game. All of these things were very basic implementations of mechanics made in a way that I can expand upon them if I want in order to make them a part of my game. I tried everything from enemy AI implementation to changing the way the loading works and much more. But before I get into the details, just a quick introduction for anyone that's new here. Hi and welcome to Devlog 3 for Blacksmith Hero, my blacksmithing game where you can use what you create in a dungeon crawling experience. Now, the first thing I worked on this week was a new and optimized loading system that only loads the room surrounding the player. However, after testing this out against the original system that loaded all the rooms at once, I noticed that it resulted in constant loading and an overall poorer gameplay experience as compared to loading the entire dungeon floor at once. Also, this seemed to be causing issues with the procedural generation as the levels were constantly loading and unloading, which meant that I had to reduce performance even further by keeping track of every single change made in the procedural dungeon. So, I came to the conclusion that it was better to just scrap the idea and revert back to the original loading system. Another thing that I tried out, this time with some success, was adding procedural ores to certain dungeon rooms. Now, as I said earlier in the video, this was just a base for adding ores and will be changed up and randomized even further, but it provided a solid foundation for my ore generation mechanic. And yes, all of this ore can be mined, though that functionality is still work in progress as well. Also, I configured and tested AI navigation in these dungeons, as I wanted to make sure that the navigation worked even if the levels are procedurally and dynamically loaded, which it did. So I proceeded to add a basic skeleton enemy along with some movement AI and basic movement animations to supplement the behavior of the AI. This will serve as my base to create humanoid enemies and smarter AI in the future. So basically, I have tested a whole bunch of random things but not really implemented any solid, fully fledged feature in my game. Then again, this is just the third week of development, so the game is in its early stages, and having a strong base is extremely important for any future development in my opinion. So, while it may seem like nothing much was added this week, the stuff I have tested will act as an important contribution to my game. As always, I would love to hear your feedback and suggestions in the comments below. And if the game seems interesting to you, you can join my Discord and Patreon, where I will be discussing various features and taking your suggestions on stuff that I plan to add to the game. Also, you can be sure to subscribe if you would like to follow along these devlogs, and you can look forward to another devlog next week.